So the wind has now cut down a little bit and the boat rule has been abated, and we see the guys just taking to the water now to find out if there are any fish on their lines. The wind has moved an awful lot of weed around, and we can see patches, great big patches of weed all over the place. Some have been blown into the shore, others have been blown into lines, and others have trapped lines out in the middle of the lake. But as we look across the water now, near the small island of Madine, we see one guy out in his boat, just frantically hunting through a big ball of weed to see if there's a fish on down there. And then just to the left there are another two anglers. We believe that's the Dutch pairing of Lars Bood and his son, and we know that they did have a fish on there to bite in the middle of that wind, but unfortunately they weren't allowed to go and use the boat to go out and fetch that fish. Safety comes first, of course. The 2017 event was really proving to be a classic. Big fish were coming out from all over the lake, with many different areas still in with a chance of winning. Remember, the rules are that the 3 biggest fish count, and with an average size of over 18 kilos and a significant number of 20 kilo fish to be caught, there was still plenty to play for. Biggest fish to date was a 24 kilogram mirror to the Ukrainian team in peg 71. We've seen a change in the leaderboard. We've seen a change yet again, and this morning we're hearing reports of once again another change. Dutch teams first, second and third at the moment. Peg 75 is behind us over there. Very tricky swim to fish, isn't it?
It is. It's really snaggy, lots of tree stumps and stuff, and the guys are using kind of poly balls and different techniques to actually fish, but they're producing and they're catching some really good fish there.
Absolutely. They've had 4 fish so far. We think that puts them in third place on the table, possibly second. We're just hearing reports about these new fish coming in, so we've got to check everything, but we think they are in third place. 1 minute the sun's out, the next minute it's not, and it chucks it down with rain. It's changing that much. If you have a look, you can see a George cross there just between us and a man in black with a very distinct white hairstyle. That's Tim Paisley. He's fishing with Lee Jackson. They've just had a decent fish as well, 40 pound plus. So there's a lot happening up here, including the wind at the moment. Is the boat ban going to come back into place?
The boat ban from yesterday, that was it, and from now on for the rest of the competition, that's it. Boats are on the water and competition is well and truly on.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look further down the lake now, and our leaders from yesterday, the guys that are in the Comfort in that Lawrence VIP tent, they are catching fish. They had 2, we believe, last night, but not big enough to change their score.
That's right. Yeah, they had 2 fish, 2 small fish, and of course it's the top 3 biggest fish. So those ones went back, and now they're on tender hooks.
Yeah,
we need a bigger one.
They need to get another big one as well, because they've been overtaken by once again another Dutch team. We saw them catch a really big common yesterday. That was a cracking fish. They were down at the bottom end of the wind. That swim that just looked so good with the muddy water, with the shallow and the deep as well. Loads and loads of options there, and that seems to be where the big fish are coming from at the moment. However, there are a few fish coming from all over, and lots of teams are now on 1 or possibly 2 fish that will be counters. They've got a reasonable amount of time left yet. The weather looks like it's going to throw it down. I think we should bolt for cover before it starts raining. And the weather did close in, then brighten, then darken again. But the fish fed, and the defending champions on the island had big news and a couple of big fish to put them back into the lead.
My machine Madine.
It's not over yet, and you know there is loads of things which can happen, as we know, Madine, and it can produce a lot of big fish in very short amount of time. So we are just working hard and trying our best, as we did after we draw that pack on Novomlinska.
First thing in the morning now, and it's the penultimate day. 24 hours left before the end of the competition, and a big fish has come out on the island. It's come to peg 76. It is 56 pound 2 ounces, 25.5 kilos, and it's come to the English team of Benji, Tim and Lee. Absolutely incredible creature. We're going to just take a look at it and then speak to the guys about what they're doing, because they're now really coming into the race. This is one of the favoured areas, but for the first 3 days, nothing at all, and it shows that you should never, ever, ever give up. They've stuck with it. They've battled through the wind. They've battled through the rain and also the tough conditions out here. Just look at that swim out there. There's an awful lot going on, and it makes fishing conditions really tricky. Also, particularly, the wind is blowing directly into their face as well. So that's made life very uncomfortable, but they've stuck with it like the hardened campaigners they are, and they caught one yesterday morning. It was 18 kilos, 40 pound plus. Brilliant start. Another one now, 25 kilos. If they get one more of 17 kilos, they rocket straight from nowhere into pole position. And at this late stage in the game, everyone else is going to be worried by this. This is really, really big news. Big fish on the bank there. couple of bites, a couple of fish landed.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's talk about rigs, massively important.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, basically, I've always got to use a rig that I think's efficient and is going to sharp hooks and everything, strong hooks and everything, especially venues like this with big fish like this, and yeah, this is. I mean, it's quite a simple rig that I actually use. It's an adaptation of the 360 rig, really, which is banned on many UK waters, and I actually call it the Reggie rig. And but no, it's quite simple. Like, you've got a medium curved shanks, carp spirit hook. I always like the old trusty 25-pound Manchester hook link.
And that's a coated braid, isn't it? Very strong.
Yeah, just never let me down. I don't strip it in any way. I just use it as it is, and it's fairly tangle-free. That suits me, and a little hook bead on there, and a hook ring swivel running up and down the shank. I think it's all about confidence as well. When you come to, especially when you come to places like this, you've got to be 100% confident of what you're using.
It was getting tight at the top now, but another fish for Brandau, Holder and Lezik in 87 gave them the lead yet again. Just over 1 kilogram ahead of Van Leeuwen, Newland and Borinkoff in 75 and 1.3 kilos over the defending champions in 85. But it wasn't over yet. News came over the radio of a big fish being played, and it was the Czech team hitting back. So that is exactly the fish that they wanted. They were after a big one. They've netted it. It needs to be more than 19.3 kilos. I reckon it probably is, looking at that. They look immensely happy, and that is just amazing to witness this live. Just look at the looks on their faces. That is amazing. They've led this tournament for a while. They sadly dropped back as the German pair, just 3 pegs down from them, caught their third fish, which put them above the 61 kilos that these guys had got. They need to change their 18 kilo fish for a carp that is above 19.3 kilos. I've got to say, that looks it. That looks a 50 from here. We need to get closer. I'm a fair way off. But my word, this is exciting. People wonder whether or not fishing is exciting. That's a 50-pounder every single day of the week. I've just seen it go in the boat. That is enormous. 23 kilos, 200 grams. That will solve the problem by a long way. It needed to be 19, 23. That's going to put them on 64 odd kilos. We'll check the mathematics on that very soon. So peg 75 now, and just look at the faces and the smiles on these guys now. They were in the lead first thing this morning. They got overtaken by the German team and the Czech team, but they've hit back now. 17.5 kilo is their smallest fish. This one will knock this off that list.
We really needed one like this.
If this is 23 kilos, this puts them on 61 kilos, which I believe will be third place. If it's grams above that, 200 or more, it'll put them in second place. They're chasing 65.1 at the moment. They need to increase by another 3 kilos. One more fish of 21 kilos or more, and that will put them in first place. They are back in the race. With just one night left to go, there were now 5 teams in the leadership race. Czech in the lead. Germans needed one big fish in peg 87, as did the Dutch in 75. And the English in 76 could also take the title with one good fish. But who would it be? Most of the leaders caught fish through the night, but it was the English team of Tim Paisley, Lee Jackson and Benji Potuchnik who, with 2 magnificent fish through the night, emerged as winners in the morning. Their overall weight was simply too much to catch, and the 2017 World Carp Classic champions were crowned. And that is what it's all about. the new World Carp Classic champions. And so to the presentation. First up, it was the team winners and a magnificent victory for Team Carper Us, their third time they've won this class. Next up was the biggest fish award for Lee Jackson, Tim Paisley and Benji Petushnik with their magnificent mirror of 25.5 kilo. Carol Nickel, Jakob Kumster and Jan Darak took the Champion of Champions award and then returned to the stage once again for their third place overall. Second was Germany, Sebastian Brandau, Florian Holder and Emil Lesic with a great performance from a very unfancied area. But the overall winners and 2017 World Carp Classic champions were England's Tim Paisley, Lee Jackson and Benji Petushnik.
It's been a great event, you know. It's at the end of the day, you can't pick and choose what picks up your hook bait, can you? And I just got lucky really on the sizes, you know. And but I just had a little feeling. I had a different feeling coming into it this year. I had a sort of, you know, you just get that sixth sense, didn't you? But the sixth sense was running out yesterday.
To win this thing finally since 1998, when Jacko and I were both here on the island, giving it large. And we've been coming back, and you know, we've won this, and I could just try it.
I'm so very proud to be part of that team. I've been friends with Lee so many years, and have come now with Tim and Lee together the last 7 years, and this year was the first time we really had the feeling that we could win this. And last night we knew we would need 2 more fish. The 3 of us would be sitting under the stars singing Que sera, sera. What may be, may be. And we wished for those 2 more fish that we needed, and within a couple of hours we got them. It was unbelievable.